Welcome back to our course on Dreamweaver CC. In this section we're going to look at Dreamweaver CC Help. And the help system is really quite comprehensive in Dreamweaver, although it may well be quite different from the sort of help system that you're used to. Now I've started up Dreamweaver here still with those two pages open that I worked on earlier on. Note that at any time if I want to close a page, I can close it using the little X up there on the right of the tab. And if I've done anything at all to a page, when I click that X, I'm asked if I want to save the changes to it. Now on this occasion I'm not going to save the changes, so I'm going to say no. So let's look now at Help. On the menu bar at the top, the right hand entry in the group on the left is Help. And if I click on Help, I get a Help menu. And right at the top of that menu we have Dreamweaver Help. This is also accessible on a Windows PC using the F1 keyboard shortcut. Dreamweaver Help takes me into a browser, and I now see Dreamweaver Help. Now there's actually quite a lot to see here, and I'm going to take you through the main points and leave you to experiment with the others. One thing to bear in mind is that you do have access here to some of the features we've looked at already. For instance, here there is a Get Started section, New to Dreamweaver, Learn Dreamweaver CC Tutorials. That will take you through to the tutorials that we looked at much earlier on in the course. But I really want to look at some of the other things here. And I'm going to start right over on the left there. There's a section Manuals, and you can actually download a complete Dreamweaver CC manual. Let's take a quick look at that. Now the Dreamweaver CC manual is, I believe, something over 700 pages long, so it's a pretty big document, and particularly if you're new to Dreamweaver, it's got some very good step-by-step instructions on doing many things that you'll be interested in doing in Dreamweaver. So I suggest downloading a copy of that manual and keeping it available, perhaps on a shortcut in your browser or shortcut on the Windows desktop, or make it available as a shortcut on your Mac. Then I think you'll find that a really useful document. Now, as I said, we access that in a browser. It's opened in a new window, so let me just close that window for the moment and go back to the Dreamweaver Help homepage. Now another thing to be aware of is right down at the bottom right here there is a little pop-up panel there, Contact Support, and for instance you can get help there on a number of aspects of Dreamweaver before you buy, help with membership plans and purchasing FAQs, getting help with your membership, billing and orders help, and then up and running, downloading and installing your apps, and how-tos, manuals, tutorials, troubleshooting and training. Now once you've signed in with your Adobe ID, you get access to Adobe Support, i.e. Dreamweaver Support in our case. Let's now look at the help itself. Right at the top of the page here we have a list of help categories. So I'm going to choose one of those categories, one on an aspect of Dreamweaver that we're going to be looking at next, and that is Site Management. If I click on Site Management, it takes me down to a section further down the same page with a list of site management topics. It's got half a dozen here. Set up a local version of your site, getting and putting files to and from your server, connect to a remote server, 3 others. There's also a More button there, so if I click on More, and I get an even longer list of items related to site management. Now let's suppose that I want to, say, set up a testing server. There's a link down here. If I click on Set up a testing server, it takes me through to the help on that task. So that's typically how you can use Adobe Help. It's not the only way, as we'll see, but that's one of the main ways. Now let me just go back to the Help home. Remember, it's browser based, so I can use the normal buttons to take me back to the home page, or I can click on Home for this site. There is also a search facility. Now we looked at the topic setting up a testing server just now, so supposing I were to type in here testing server, as the topic I want help on, and then just click the enter key. And what I get now is a list. It's a bit like doing a search, a Google search or something. I get a list of topics that mention testing server. But that list of topics includes items not only from the Dreamweaver CC help, but from a number of other sources as well. And I can use these buttons at the top to decide which content I want to see. So for instance, at the moment I can see all community content. So that's the set of all of the help that's available from all of the available sources, including community help contributed by other people, Adobe's own official help if you like, but I will also get help from earlier versions of Dreamweaver. The first item in the list there, for instance, setting up a local testing server in Dreamweaver CS5. If I only wanted Creative Cloud tutorials and manuals help, if I were to choose that radio button, then I will only get help that is the official help from the Creative Cloud tutorials and the Creative Cloud manuals. So the help there is from a much broader range of sources, and really you need to choose in each case which sources you want to use. Very often it's the case that you'll look at what help comes up, and then if there's far more than you need, or if something is definitely not relevant and you really want something, for example, that is specific to Creative Cloud, or you want to filter it using one of the other options here, such as only Adobe content, then by doing that filtering you can very often narrow down what's available to something that is more specifically helpful for the particular topic that you're looking for. So there's some of the main topics related to help. I just want to show you one more. I'm going to close the browser for the moment and I'm back into Dreamweaver, and I want to show you a panel that we're going to be using soon. If I click on Window, I'm going to click the Files panel and open the Files panel. That's one we're going to be using a lot. And within the Files panel, over on the right, top right hand corner nearly, there's a little button with a drop down on it. If I click on the drop down, one of the options on there is Help. And many of these little drop down and fly out menus that you see in Dreamweaver CC have Help. Click on Help, watch what happens. Browser opens, it goes into the Dreamweaver manual and it takes you to using the Files panel. So this is what we'll call Contextual Help. This is help where it takes you straight away to some help that can help you with the task in hand. And opportunities to use contextual help you should look out for, particularly in the early days of using Dreamweaver, because there's a lot for you to learn. But also don't forget, you can go back to the help homepage, even get to the point that you can go and watch a tutorial about a particular topic. But you can certainly get access to a very wide range of help in Dreamweaver CC. So once again, I'm going to close the browser. I'm back at Dreamweaver. I've got a panel open, I've got a page open, I'm halfway through working on a page, but if I close Dreamweaver using the close button at the top right, I am asked about saving changes to that page. Once again I'm going to say no, and what will happen when I click on no is that Dreamweaver will close. The panels, you don't need to tidy up the panels when you finish working with Dreamweaver for the day. You can just leave them there. Of course you can close it if you want to. I'll show you how to do that a little bit later on. But the important thing is it'll ask you about these pages. If you don't want to save something, just say no. Next time when you open Dreamweaver again, you'll be starting afresh. So click on no. That's the end of this section. I'll see you in the next one.